Anyway, this is, of course, where we talk about estate planning, elder law, real estate, and business law. And just had a situation where I'm talking at a workshop. Guy's been a couple of times now. Um, and he's in his 80s, early 80s, 82, I think, 81, 82, something like that. Engineer, and knows he needs to get something done. But one of those guys who analyzes everything to the point of paralysis. Analysis paralysis is what they call it sometimes. And everyone else is signing up, to get the job done, and not this fella. And he, like I said before, he probably has a better understanding, legal technical anyway, because he asked some really good questions, very good questions, I thought. Um, Although I don't know, there was a guy who was a retired IRS agent. He probably had a pretty good beat on what it was we're doing too. But anyway, the point is, the point is, um, why do why do folks act on this stuff? Now, I mean, my interest in you getting the job done is obvious, right? I mean, it's what I do for a living, so I would like you to do it. Yeah, I mean, there's no question that there's that motivation on my part, but here's the other thing. The middle class is under assault. I don't know if you have you noticed this? Have you noticed? There are people out there who don't care what a bottle of milk costs because they don't pay for it. I mean, they do pay for it, but somebody else, is writing the check, and it doesn't matter to them. And then there are other people who somebody else is paying for them on the other end of the spectrum. And again, it's not irrelevant, but it's not as relevant as it is for the middle class. And it's and who's paying for it anyway? You are. The middle class is paying for it. That's what I think. And as a consequence, the middle class is getting, and the worst part about it, the worst, you don't get any credit for it. You know what I mean? You're awful, horrible people, and all the rest of this is what I keep hearing. How terrible. Oh, terrible middle class values. Oh, how awful everybody is, and it's like we're the ones doing it for everybody. What are you talking about, right? And where it really gets tight, and where the noose just really the last inch is when it comes to the long term care. Uh, I mean, that seems obvious to me, right? I mean, it seems like 1 + 1 = 2. Getting older plus long term care costs equal no more life savings. It seems pretty obvious. Well, but people don't act on that basis, right? And I realize, that is my limitation, my weakness in talking about this stuff is we make it seem perhaps as if it's simply well, I got money in the bank and money. It that isn't really what this is about. Okay, I mean we can go in legal technical as deep as you want. I'm happy to do it. In fact, I almost prefer to do it. I mean, I look back sometimes in conversations I've had with clients, with folks, and I realize they weren't really asking me how does this work on which regulations and the bridges eligibility. They weren't really asking that. It was more of a how do I make sure that I fulfill what I perceive to be my obligations. How do I make sure that my family is okay? Because that's really what this is about. All right. You can't take it with you. I have a good authority. You can't take it with you. Okay. But you did work really hard and you did work for a long time. So you would like to have there be, at least this is what I've seen, is some ongoing value, some continuing value to that. You don't want, I would suggest, you don't want to be taken advantage of. And you are being taken advantage of. And it's so freaking sneaky about it because with the Medicare, which is a taxpayer supported program, which is a you supported program, you pay and you get out. And there's an immediate need for that. Like you can't kid yourself. If you need a bypass or a stent or a cataract surgery or whatever else it is, right? You need it. You need it. The doctor said you need it. You can't see that well anyway. Okay, great. Let's go do that. And if they said to you at that point, oh no, you have to pay for this yourself, right? Or we're not going to pay for you because you still have that cottage or because you have two cars or because you have a IRA or something like that. It's like outrageous. You wouldn't put up with it. Okay. Um, because you need it right now. Okay. Same way with Social Security. Social Security, you paid in, you get out. Very obvious. Everybody gets that. Why not? Where people don't get it, and where it's more devastating financially, and I would say to the family and to the middle class, is with the long term care, right? And you don't notice it really because when you're going through it, you're kind of out of it. I mean, that's reality. Unless you're the one caring for the spouse. Maybe you're a single person, you don't have a spouse. You'd like to stay at home, but you can't stay at home. There's no one to take care of you, right? And it's so expensive for that. Well, what if there was a way that you never had to worry about that? And if you are in that situation, you got to know that, dementia is a real thing. I'm not making that up. Okay. And the nursing homes are busting at the seams. And trying to get home care in is more expensive than it's ever been. I'm not telling you anything you don't know. More expensive than you ever, if you can find it. And you get a purple haired somebody who goes to sleep on your couch. True story. I was there when it happened. The girl shows up with a bunch of pillows and blankets and goes to sleep on the couch. We wanted 24-hour somebody to stay awake with dad for 24 hours. It was like, get somebody, will no one stay awake? No, no one will stay awake. Made a little nest on the couch and that was it, for, I don't know, what is $30 an hour or something like this. Anyway, it was ridiculous. Point is that when that comes, when that happens, right, either you're ready for it or you're not ready for it. And what we have found over the years with the families who have gone, it's not about, oh, I got the coolest trust or whatever. People, it's not like driving a car up and everybody's like, ooh, look at that. It's not like that, but it's a internal peace of mind. That's handled. And once you're on the inside, once you see how when you experience it, it's like you kind of wonder. We get people ask the question, how can anybody not do this? When they compare the way it was before to the way it is now, when it's okay, I know what's going to happen. I'm not going to lose that cottage. I'm not going to lose the life savings. That's going to be okay for me. It's going to be okay for my spouse, right? And I'm not just giving it all to the nursing home, a long-term care facility, or the government, or whoever. I'm not just giving it away. This is going to continue to be the work that my life work is going to continue on. It's going to be something that matters going forward to my kids, my grandkids, and on down through the years. That's what this is really all about. And the legal technical is how we get there, but you don't care about that, I don't think, any more than how many speeds your transmission has in your vehicle, or is it ceramic coated or whatever. As long as it's shiny, it's good. You know what I mean? As long as it stops, as long as it's safe. Okay. Those are all the things that engineering gets you to, right? But it's the reality of that experience that really matters, and that's the point here. When I'm talking to I realize when I'm talking to my friend, the engineer,